So this is my long form review of 2026's Motor City, starring Alan Richardson. Quick spoiler: it is literally the Count of Monte Cristo, updated to 1977, placed in Detroit City, and basically there's virtually no dialogue. So think Count of Monte Cristo, but instead of swords, sawed-off shotguns. So it's a really good movie. I think this will be a future cult movie because there were surprisingly a, a, a lot of good, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of good action set pieces. You know, Alan Richardson knows how to physically deliver a performance. He could deliver lines too, but I guess this movie, I guess they wanted to concentrate on action. The one thing I think this might be a concern is on the streaming side, because if you've noticed, a lot of Netflix movies are overloaded with exposition because most people are just listening on their phone. So they're basically the world's most expensive audiobooks. But that's a complaint for another podcast. But what's going on is Al Richardson plays an ex-con. He's finally finished with parole. He's got a job. He's got a girl. He proposes to her. She says yes. But his day was going kind of rough. Like someone stole his car. Luckily, he managed to get it back, which is weird. But he was just so psyched. His finished parole. His girl said yes. And then a smoke bomb goes off and cops raid him. And they find like 9 keys of cocaine in his trunk. So it's a clear setup. And while he's being put in the interrogation room, some swarmy guy shows up with the ring from his girl, and you can see his heart break. And as we go into a flashback, we realize that his girl used to be a drug dealer's girl. And he kind of won her heart, got her cleaned up. And apparently this drug dealer cut a deal with a dirty cop to frame him and put him away. So, again, Count of Monte Cristo style. But I like how everything in this movie, almost all the performances, it's all handled physically. So, every emotion, people are emoting. There's like maybe 5 lines of dialogue in the entire film. And it's much like a few years ago, John Woo's Silent Night. Except this one, they didn't even try to explain it. It was just a style thing. And I think it works better. Because one of the things that carried this movie was the soundtrack. Because the soundtrack was basically the dialogue. It was setting the mood. It was setting the pace. And as I watched it, I enjoyed it a great deal. It was, like I said, I think this is going to be a cult movie because unfortunately I was the only one in the theater. That's a Monday. So it's a really good movie. Alan Richardson really does emote well. He does look funny with the hairpiece and the mustache he has for part of the film, beginning of the film. But then but when he starts to go to the climax, he shaves everything off and he's got that Alan Reacher look going, so he's serious. And there's really nothing to spoil. It's a classic, I would say almost 80s style action movie. Except they just updated it so nobody has. Well, there's a little bit of infinite ammo cheats in this movie, but at least they show them make the ammo. And it's kind of cool. If you know anything about guns, they're basically making homemade shredders, they use coins instead of pellets. A really nasty thing. You'll do a very long time in prison if they find you with that. But yeah, it's basically the Count of Monte Cristo in the 70s with sawed-off shotguns and no dialogue. I think it'll be a future cult movie, and once the scenes get cut up and put on shorts, it'll garner our audience. It'll have some issues because there's no dialogue that you won't be able to do streaming as easily on a phone, where like most people or most Netflix movies tend to be audiobooks that cost 9 figures. But yeah, it was a great movie. I wish I'd seen it sooner. I hope not. I hope it does well on streaming and or some other platform, because this was a very well made film. There was no wasted scenes because of the fact of dialogue. They really couldn't sit there and just have people talking and talking. One weird thing that was inconsistent though was, like, if you look at the time and the weather report, like, Detroit City was knee deep in snow. Because what you kids don't realize is there used to be winters in this country, and a thing came down like rain, but it was frozen. They called it snow. You don't see that no more. But yeah, back in the 70s, it snowed in the winter. But yeah, if you have a chance to catch it on streaming, or if you're really lucky, catch it in a theater that's still showing it, like Motor City 2026, great movie. Catch it if you can.